Okay, says it's recording now, so we'll go ahead and get started. I want to thank you guys for coming to the call tonight. This is my weekly Here to Help You webinar where I show you guys a little demonstration or a presentation and I answer questions I got in emails. Then I'll take your guys' live questions after that. And like I said, this call is all for you guys. There's nothing for sale here tonight, although tonight I will be asking you guys a question about something that me and Robert Poole were talking about earlier today. But again, it's not anything that's for sale. It's just an idea I've come up with. I just want to run it by you guys, see what you think about it. What we're going to do tonight, I'm going to demonstrate how to build a squeeze page from scratch using Kompozer. I've got quite a few questions about how to use Kompozer and how to do simple HTML stuff. So I thought showing you guys how to create a squeeze page from scratch might be a good little demo to show you guys. I know a lot of you probably are familiar with HTML and using Kompozer, so this might be something that might not interest you, but then there's a lot of people, like I said, I get questions constantly about how to add a buy button or how to add a graphic to a page, that type of thing. So I thought I'd do just a little quick demo to show you how you can create a HTML page from scratch. Obviously that means I'm going to have to drop the desktop for this, so usually when we do that, some people lose the connection and sometimes I get disconnected. So I've got the sounds enabled, so if I do get disconnected, one of you can ring the bell maybe. If you do get a black screen when I switch to desktop, you may have to log out and log back in to see the screen. That is the one caveat to doing that. But with that said, let's go ahead and let's switch to desktop and we'll see if we can't create a squeeze page. Okay, in this video I'm going to demonstrate how to create a squeeze page from scratch using Kompozer. I'm actually going to do it twice. I'm going to show you just a plain squeeze page, and I'm going to show you a squeeze page with some graphical background images to it. So to start with, I've got Kompozer here loaded, and I've clicked the new tab here to create a new page. I'm going to start out by inserting a table. So I'll go to Insert and then Table. Now I'm going to start out with just a single cell table here first. So I'm going to just click the button there. Next thing I do is I right click inside the table, make sure I'm inside the table, and then I right click. I go to Table Cell Properties. Then I click on the Tables tab, and I'm going to set this to 800 pixels wide. Then on the border, I'm going to set that to 0. On the cell spacing, I'm going to set that to 0. And then padding, I'm going to set that to 0 as well. Now where it says table alignment, you see it's currently set to the left side of the screen. I'm going to change that to center. And I'm going to click apply and then OK. So what we have here now is just a basic table here, which is one row in it. And this is where I'm going to use as the basis to start designing this page that I'm working on. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go click inside the table again. I'm going to click on Insert and then Table again. And then this time I'm going to create a table that has 2 rows to it. So I'll click that button there. And again, I want to click inside this new table I've created. I'm going to right click and go to Table Cell Properties. Go to the Tables tab again. It's already set for 100% width of the cell, which is fine, is what I want. Again, on border, I'm going to change that to 0, spacing 0, and then padding 0. And it's not necessary, but I'm going to set it to center on table alignment too. I'm going to click apply and then OK. Now I'm going to delete that extra space that Kompozer added. So now I've got one big table with another table inserted inside of it that's 100% of the width, that is 2 rows to it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start creating the actual copy to go in this page. So if I click up here in the top row, I'm going to just go ahead and type in a headline for this squeeze page. Okay, so there I have the copy for my headline that I put in there. Next, I'm going to click down into the second row. I'm going to go to insert again and insert another table. But this time I'm going to insert a table that has 2 columns to it. So I'll click over here on the second column. Again, I'll click inside this table I just created. Go to right click, go to table cell properties, click on table again. Again, leaving it at 100% width of the cell. I'm going to set the border again to 0, spacing to 0, and then on this time on padding, I'm going to actually make it 20 pixels on padding. Again, it's not necessary, but I'm going to change the table width to center. Click apply and then OK. So now I've got 2 rows in this table, and I've got another table inserted in here that has 2 columns. Over on the left hand side, I'm going to put a short little description about these 3 free articles that I'm giving away. Then over here on the right hand side, I'm going to put a little lead in and then my opt-in form code. So I'm going to start out by over here on the left hand side and just type a little descriptive text about these free articles that I'm giving away. Again, these are just generic descriptions I'm putting here, and I want to do a spell check, make sure I spelled everything right. And I do see that I'm using capitalization in a couple of places. I'll tidy that up a little bit as I go, just to make sure everything's uniform. Spelled weight wrong. I spelled a lot of words wrong in this, didn't I? There we go. Alright, so it looks like all my words are spelled right now. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to highlight all 3 of these little bullet points, and I'm going to actually turn them into bullet points by clicking up here on the button that says bulleted list. Now, lastly, I'm going to go over here to the right hand side and type in a little blurb about entering their opt-in. we have the basic text, and it's pretty plain Jane. So what we're going to do now is just apply a little bit of formatting to this to make it look a little bit better. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight the headline up here. I'm going to click the center button to center it. I'm going to select the paragraph style up here, or paragraph format, and I'm going to select H1 heading. I'm actually going to color the text, so I'll click the choose color for text. And I like to use this red here as headline text color, so I'll click that. So now I've got a nice pretty little red headline. I'll highlight this and bold it, and then highlight this and bold this. And then lastly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a select all, edit, and then select all, and make everything the Arial font. So now we've got a pretty decent looking little squeeze page here. The only thing I like is inserting my opt-in code. And generally what I do for that is I hit a couple of blank lines and then click the center button here and just type in opt-in form code. Okay, so what that basically does is it just shows me a placeholder where I'm going to be placing my opt-in form code. So what I'll do now is I'll go to get response and just grab an opt-in form code. I'll go to my web forms list, and I'm just going to pick one of these. This one right here has a graphical button in it, which I really like. So I'll grab it. I'll pull it up, click on the Publish tab, highlight all of it and hit Control-C on my keyboard to copy it. Now I'll go back to Kompozer here, and I'll highlight this section where I typed in opt-in form code, and this time I'll go to Insert and HTML, and as you can see, it's put that text back in here into this little box. I'll highlight it one more time, and I'll hit Control-V to paste in my opt-in form code. Then I'll click on Insert. Now when you're in this mode right here, you don't actually get to see what the opt-in looks. You'll actually have to save this and then pull it up in a web browser look. So that's what we're going to do next. We're pretty much done with this. We're happy with the way it looks, so we're going to save it and then we'll pull it up in the browser and see what it looks like. So I'll click the Save button, and of course it wants me to give it a name, so I'm just going to call this one Test. And here on my desktop, I've created a folder called New Squeeze Page. I'll just save it in there as test.html. Okay, so now I'm going to go to that folder, and this is the page we just created. So I'm going to double click on it and open it up in a web browser, and we'll see what it looks like. Okay. So there you go. It's a pretty much basic page. It looks pretty good. This would actually convert. I'd put some more thought into the bullet points and maybe tweak the headline a little bit to it. But that's that's the basics of a squeeze page with no real formatting to it. Okay. So next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and I'm going to recreate this page again, but this time I'm going to use the same copy, but I'm going to add some graphics to the background to make it stand out a little bit more. So I'm going to click on New, to create a new page. And again, I'm going to click on Insert and Table. And I want just one table to start with. I'm going to click in here to the table, right click, go to Table Cell Properties, go to Table, and again I want to set it to 800 pixels. So instead of percent of window, I want pixels. Again, the border is going to be 0, spacing is going to be 0, padding is going to be 0, and the table alignment is going to be center. Okay, so we're starting out basically like we did with the one with no fancy graphics in the background. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to create another table inside of this one. So I'll click inside the table. I'll go to Insert and Table. But this time I'm going to create a table that has 3 rows to it. So I'll go over here to the Rows section and click on the third one. And again, it's created the table inside of the other table, just like I wanted. So I'll click in the first row and then right click and go to Table Cell Properties and then Table. Make sure it says 100% of the cell. Again, I want my border to be 0, spacing to be 0, and padding to be 0. And of course, I don't really have to select table alignment, but I will anyway, and I'm going to select that for center. I'm going to click Apply and then OK. And it's inserted a blank line down there, so we'll delete that. Okay, so now what we've got one table, a big table that's 800 pixels wide. We've inserted another table inside of it that's also 800 pixels wide, but has 3 rows to it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an image background to each one of these rows. So to do that, what I've done is inside the folder where I'm going to be creating this, I've created an images folder, and inside this images folder I have 3 images: a back bottom.gif, a back mid.gif, and a back top.gif. So what I want to do is I want to find out the actual size in pixels of each one of these images. I'm going to start with the one that goes on top. I'm going to click on it, and you'll notice that Windows down here tells me that it's 800 pixels by 45 pixels. That tells me it's 800 pixels wide and it's 45 pixels high. So we got to remember this file name. So what you can do is click on it and just highlight it and copy it. This way you know you're spelling it right. And we're going to go back to Kompozer, but this time we're going to go to the Source tab, and we're going to actually look at the source, the HTML source. Now, of course, Kompozer puts some extra tags in here, and I'm going to delete those to start with because I don't need none of those break tags. So this is basically what it would look like once I get rid of the extra stuff that Kompozer put in here. Now, before I do this, I want to explain a little bit about this code. It may look kind of scary to you, but basically what this is, it's kind of like looking at a recipe for making a cake or some cookies or whatever. It's just basically each one of these is a command that is kind of a programming language in the sorts, that when you give a link to somebody, their browser will go out to your web server and request this file, and your browser will look for these commands to tell it how to display that page that you sent the link to. So if we look at this, of course, ignoring that top line there because that's just telling it what style the page is written in. We don't mess with that ever at all. But the very second line is called the body tag, or let me scroll back up here so I can show you the whole thing. The very first line is the HTML tag, and all it tells us is this is an HTML page. Now, if it were an Excel file, it would say Excel up here. If it were a video, it would say video up here. But this is just a straight HTML page. So the tags always begin with a greater than sign, and then whatever command there is, and then finish with a less than sign. So the first one tells it that this is HTML code that it's getting ready to receive. The next line, it tells it that this is the head, And what the head command is tells the browser to process these files, these commands first, in order to process the rest of the commands that are in this HTML file. So again, that starts with the greater than sign and the word head, then a less than sign. Then you have, the tags in here that are automatically inserted by Kompozer that tells a little bit about the file. This is generally used if you were going to have like a custom CSS file, or maybe links to a favorite icon or something like that. You rarely ever mess with these things, especially in doing something like we're doing right here. The most important part is when it gets past this head section, it comes to the actual body section right here. And this is where the actual display of the web page comes into play. Again, it starts with a greater than sign, the word body, and then a less than sign. And then next after that is the actual commands to draw our table. Once the table is drawn, it's got a closing body tag, which is just the greater than sign, a forward slash, the word body, and a less than sign, and then a closing HTML, which tells the browser that that's all of the HTML commands. And again, it starts with a greater than sign, a forward slash, the word HTML, and then a less than sign. And that just tells it that this is the body closing tag says that's all of the copy that was in this page. I'm done sending you commands on how to draw it. And then the closing HTML says we're finished altogether, display what I've given you. Okay, so like I said, the reason why we dropped out to the source code here is because I wanted to show you how to insert a background image. Now, like I said, we went to our images folder and we got the name, the exact file name of the top one, the one that's going to be in top. And we actually got the dimensions. You can see if you hover over it, Windows will tell you the description. If you click it, it will tell you the dimensions down here. So going back to Kompozer, we go to the first TD, which is a table description, and it's actually the first cell. You'll notice it has a style equals, and it says vertical line equals top. So inside this style command, we want to put another command to tell it to display a background image. We do that by typing background dash image, a colon sign, the letters URL, parenthesis, right parenthesis, and then where the image is located, which is in the images folder, a forward slash, and then paste in the name of the actual image, and then a left parenthesis, and then a semicolon. So what we've done now is we've just told it that there's a background image. It's located in the images folder, and its name is backtop.gif. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to copy this line and paste it in all three of those table rows. So I'm going to highlight it and go to copy. I'm going to click down here in the same place on the next row, and let's hit Control V and paste it in there. And then on the very last one, do the same thing. Click in right beside the quotation mark and the V in vertical, and hit Control V and paste it in there. Now, I got to remember to change these file names. So if we go back to the images folder, we notice one is called backmid.gif and one is called backbottom.gif. So if we go back to Kompozer here, and the one that's going to be in the mid, we change that to mid. And then the one that's going to be on the bottom, we change the word top to bottom. Okay, so that's all you'd really have to do to insert a background image throughout the rest of the copy as we add it. So if we click back on the design tab now, we can see that we have a background image for our tables now. But if we click up here in here like we were going to add copy, you'll notice that it goes to the top left hand corner, and we don't want that. That means if we were to start typing text in here now, it would be outside our image and it would look funny. So to fix that, what we're going to do is we're going to click inside this middle row here, and we're going to insert another table. This is actually be our third table that we're inserting in here. So we'll click on Insert and Table. And again, we're just going to just a single column, single row table. We're going to click inside that table and we're going to set the table properties. And here's where you may need to experiment with the actual width. I just happen to know that 700 pixels works for this set of images that I'm using, so I'm going to set it to 700 pixels. I'm going to set the border to 0, spacing to 0, and the padding to 0. And of course, table alignment, I have to set it to center here since it's actually smaller than the table that I'm inserting in. So if I click Apply and then OK, now you see that I have a table inserted inside of the other table, and it's pretty much within the border of that image, so I can start adding text in here. Okay, so now to get our page to look like this, remember we had to have a table that had 2 rows in it, and then in the second row I inserted another table that had 2 columns. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to insert these additional tables that I need. So I'll start out by clicking in this row. I go to Insert and Table, and here I want to create one with 2 rows. I want to right click on, make sure I'm clicked inside one of the rows, and right click and go to Table Cell Properties and go to Table, make sure it's set to 100%. We'll set the border to 0, spacing to 0, and the padding to 0. And again, like I said, table alignment really doesn't matter since it's taking up 100% of the width, but we're going to go ahead and set it to center anyway. Then click Apply and OK. Okay, so now let's get rid of some of these extra lines that Kompozer threw in here. For some reason, I like to throw in extra lines. So now we got a place to put our headline, and we got a place to put our actual copy here. So what we need to do now is in the second row, we need to insert our last table. And remember, if you remember, that was this row right here, and it actually it's a table with 2 columns. So we're going to insert, click in there, and we're going to go to Insert, Table, and this time select 2 columns. And again, click inside one of the tables and right click and go to Table Cell Properties, Table tab. It's already set to 100% width, so we're fine with that. We want 0 on the border, 0 on the spacing, and remember this time we want to have 20 pixels padding between the table sides. And again, click Center, and click Apply, and then OK. So now we can go proceed with copying the text that we had from the other page that we created. So what I'll do is I'll just highlight all of this and just copy it over. This is the top row right here, so I'll just paste that part in there. This is our left side column. I'll highlight all that and copy it and paste it in here. And then I'll get this line right here, but I'm going to have to go back to Get Response and get the opt-in code again, because you can't copy the script code. We still have that open over here, so I'll go back to this, and it's still highlighted. So I'll hit Control-C to copy it again. Hit a couple of lines, create a couple of blank lines. I'll go to Insert, and this time I'll go to HTML, just like I did before, to insert the form code, and hit Control-V to paste it in there, and then click Insert. And again, it doesn't show you the actual display of it here inside the design window. You'll have to actually save it and then pull it up. But before I do that, I want to format this again. I want to center this. Then I want to change the text color. And then I want to Control-A to select it all. And I'm going to select Arial as my font. And I might actually do a little centering right here as well. Okay, so now if we save this, and remember we called this one test 2, if we go back to our folder where we saved these, and we open up test 2 now, as you can see, I probably should have done a little more formatting up here. It looks like this is reaching too far out to the edges. So what I'll do is I'll go back into Kompozer again. And I'll click right there and I'll right click and I'll go to table cell properties and I'll add, instead of 10 on the padding or 20 on the padding, I'll put 10 there. Then click apply and OK. Save it. Now if I go back over here and reload this, it should look a little bit better. There we go. Yeah, that looks much better. So now compared it to the plain one I set up with no formatting as compared to the one with the table image background, you can see it looks much nicer. And it wouldn't, it was a little more work creating the extra tables and having to actually link to the images in the background, but as you can see, it makes it look a whole lot better and more eye-catching. When people come across this page, they'll stop and look at it more than they would this one right here. Of course, this one here would probably do just as well too if I put in some good copy in there, but this one here will do much better because this looks much more professional. But that's basically how you create a squeeze page with Kompozer. It's not really that hard. Just get in here and create a page and just experiment with these tables. And like I said, the best thing to do, like I said, is create an images folder and keep your images all organized in here, and just get the size of your images. Like I showed you there, you can hover over them and Windows will tell you in the little box, it pulls up what size they are, or you can click on them and get the size down here at the very bottom on the bottom of the window. But that's the short little tutorial on how to create a squeeze page with Kompozer. Okay, well, I'll answer the questions I got in the emails, and then we'll take your guys' questions. Then I've got something I want to ask you guys before we call it a night tonight. Okay, I only got 3 questions this week in the emails. The first one says, what was it? Let's see, where was it you said you buy banner ads from? The place I go buy banner ads from is called buysellads.com. Let me type that in the chat box for you guys in case you want to go there. That's where I go to buy banner ads. And like I said, if you go there the first of the month, you'll get the best deals on getting banners for the month. And they generally run by the month is how they usually sell. Now, there are some people that have different time periods listed, but most of the time it's by the month you buy them. And you either buy them by the impression, by so much per impression, or you can buy them for 30-day run. I try to buy the 30-day run ones is the ones I try to get. I have bought the impression ones, but you have to be careful with those because if it's a blog, it's getting a lot of traffic. It could run up to be quite a bit of a bill. So, but generally the first of the month is when I go there. So we got about 9-10 days before the first of the month. So you might want to bookmark that URL and go there the first of the month and see if you can get a good deal on some banners on a blog. And they got just about any niche you can think of over there in any blogs. And they got demographics and traffic stats, so you can look and see what kind of traffic the blog's getting, so you know whether it's worth spending the money on a banner there or not. But that's where I've got the best deals. And like I said, sometimes I've gotten deals as low as $25 for a whole month to run a banner on a blog for a month for $25. That's really cheap when you can get those. But they disappear really quick. I mean, the first few days they're gone, those deals are, and then it starts getting more expensive as the month goes on. You would think it'd be the opposite, but it's not. It gets more expensive as the month goes on for some reason. The next question I got is, what do you know about Rental List? And I think I've gotten this question before. Rental List is another media buy outlet where you can buy banners and you can buy clicks to your website. They have various ways they sell clicks. One cheap way of getting clicks there is they run a free weekly lotto, I believe is what they call it, where people can go in once a day and choose lottery numbers. But in order to be able to choose a lottery number to be played to win the lottery, they have to view a website first. And they only allow 10 sponsors per week. So, and I think it costs like, it's either $19 or $29. I can't remember for sure. But for that $19 or $29, you get the whole week run of being one of them 10 places in that lotto thing. And you'll get about 1,500, 2,000 clicks to your website from that. So that's what I've used the most over on Rentalist. Now they also have um, banners that you can get over there, and I think it's like 10 cents a click for banners, but I've not had really good luck with the banners over there. They don't seem to get very many impressions. Don't spend much on the ads because they don't get much impressions, but you know, since it's low traffic, you don't make many opt-ins or sales, either one, since you're not getting a lot of traffic. They also have a pay-per-click email deal where you can bid on keywords and solo ads when you can pay, anywhere from 30 cents to 70 cents a click for emails to be sent out by people that have lists. I haven't tried that because it requires it's either $150 or $250 deposit, and I don't know. I don't know what kind of quality traffic they have in that pay-per-click with their email, so I haven't tried that. But they just started that about 3-6 months ago, and I haven't, like I said, I haven't tried it yet. But that's what I use Rentalist for when I do use them, is mostly that free lotto sponsorship. Like I said, it's either $19 or $29 for a week. And they run all kinds of specials. Sometimes they'll have promo codes where you can get it 40% off. I try to catch those whenever they send those out. You can go over and get signed up to their mailing list, and they'll send you notices when they're having a sale. So you might get some really good deals on that lotto sponsorship if you use one of those codes. And then the last question I got, it says, I saw you bought WP Profit Builder and wasn't too happy with it. Has your opinion changed any? Not really. I messed with it for 2 days straight, trying to create just a basic sales page, not say anything real fancy, but I just never could get it to look right. So after 2 days of fooling with it, I pretty much gave up on it. I didn't get a refund on it. I probably should have had, since I'm not able to use it the way I wanted to use it. But no, my opinion's not changed on it any. It's not as easy as they claim it is. Of course, I guess that's the way they do all those products. Like if they claim it's so easy that anybody can do it, and I didn't have good luck with it. I spent 2 days on it and couldn't get one simple sales page to look the way I wanted it to look, so I gave up on it. I'm still using WP Sales Copy for simple sales pages inside WordPress. It does exactly what I want it to do, so I'm sticking with it for right now. That's all the questions that I've got through the emails. Okay, do you guys have any other questions that you'd like to have answers to before I bring up this thing I want to talk to you about? Any at all? None. Okay. All right. Anyway, then, what I wanted to ask you guys about, like I said, I'm not pitching this at all, but Robert Poole and I were talking today about starting an ad co-op, and it's something that I wanted to do for a while, but I just didn't know if I could get enough people involved in it to be worth it. Basically, what an ad co-op is, if you're not sure what one is, a group of people get together and they pool their money so that they can afford to go out and buy a large traffic package that normally you couldn't afford to buy on your own, because they're pretty expensive. To get a good price break on them, it's really expensive. What I'm looking at is probably a package that has like 4,000 or 5,000 clicks in it, and in order for it to be cost effective, we'd have to have like at least 10 people in it, maybe 10 to 20, somewhere in that range. So just wanted to throw it out there and see if any of you guys might be interested in that. Of course, it would be solo ad traffic and funnel click traffic. So, would have to pretty much be, to squeeze pages, since it's all going to be coming from solo ad sellers. They pretty much don't want to advertise paid sites at all. They want you to offer something for free to their list. So anyway, I'm just throwing that out there. If you guys are interested in that, just send me an email saying that you're interested in it, and I'll start looking around, see what kind of packages I can get. Like I said, what I'd like to get is enough money collected together so we can get 4,000 or 5,000 clicks, and then each one of us, contribute our equal share, and everybody would have an equal share, and we just set it up in a rotator, and everybody gets, equal amount of clicks in it. So if we could get, say, 10 people we got a package of 4,000 clicks and 10 people were involved, everybody would get 400 clicks out of it. We're probably looking in the neighborhood of around $30 to $40 to buy a share in it, somewhere around in that range, which if you bought a solo ad itself, you'd be lucky if you could get one for $30 or $40 to start with. If you did, it'd be real low quality traffic. It'd be ones from third party countries if you could get a solo ad that cheap. But if we had enough people, like I said, if we had enough people to where we could get, a good quality package, because the more clicks you buy, the cheaper they get. We could get, some top tier countries, the US, UK, Australia, Canada, get some of those down to like 30 or 40 cents a click if we, bought a really large package, of 1,000 clicks or so. We'd have to buy probably 2 or 3 packages worth to get 4,000 or 5,000 clicks. But that's something I could definitely do, is find some solo ad sellers that would sell us that. And I'm thinking about doing this around the 1st of October. So it's not something you have to decide on tonight. Um, I'll send out an email again to ask people if they're interested in it. But just think about it. Robert and I were talking about that today. It would be good if we could pool our money together to get a good size ad package that we could all split the traffic. So just thought I'd ask you guys about that if you're interested in it or not. Just send me an email, let me know if you're interested, and I'll start looking around for some packages and start getting some prices and figure out, if we want to do this or not. Roy, like I said, I'm estimating probably about $30 to $40 what each person would have to contribute. About between $30 and $40. Uh, Kathy, are you asking about the total cost of the packages? Or it says you won't get 400 clicks otherwise for $40. No, you never get 400 clicks for $40. You'd be lucky if you could get 100 for $40, and even at 100 for $40, it's going to be low quality traffic. So like I said, once when you're talking about, major ad spends like this, you can get really good price breaks, especially on funnel clicks. Now, I don't know if you know what funnel clicks are or not, but funnel clicks are usually delivered through download pages, thank you pages, and then PS links and emails. So you don't get the traffic as fast as you would with a solo ad, but they generally deliver them in like 14 to 30 days. And you can get those, if you buy big packages, you can get those sometimes down to like 20 and 25 cents a click. But you got to buy a huge package to get them that cheap. It's something, the average person just can't afford to spend. Um, Kathy, what I'm really trying to do is get anywhere from $800 to $1,000. If we can get $800 to $1,000 pooled together, we could get a really huge traffic package. It might be a couple of them we'd have to buy to be able to get that, 4,000 clicks, but with $800 to $1,000 to work with, we should be able to get, some really good a really good traffic package sent to us. Like I said, I'd like to see us all be able to get 200 to 400 clicks out of it for about $40. Anyway, like I said, it's not something you have to. You guys lost the sound again? Are you hearing me again now? And we must have some really bad bandwidth problems. I can't even talk now about it getting you guys losing me. Anyway, like I said, it's not something you have to decide on tonight. Just Robert Poole and I were talking about it today. That it'd be good if we could get everybody together and get a big ad package. So if you think you might be interested in it, like I said, we're looking at probably somewhere between $30 and $40 per for everybody to have a share in it. And like I said, if we get $800 to $1,000 to work with, we could buy a really huge package. Like I said, I like to do this all on 1st of October if we could, if we're going to do this. Well, Jim, we can try after the conference call here tonight and see. I mean, I don't know if it's Charter causing this problem, if it's somewhere else down the line. It could be something to do with GVO having problems, but we can try. It may not be Charter. It might be GVO having problems. Okay, guys, do y'all have any other questions before we call tonight? Like I said, I apologize for all the bandwidth problems we had tonight. I'll get that video made for you guys to show you how to create a squeeze page. And 'cause like I said, that's something I really wanted you guys to see because it's something you're going to do a lot of if you stay in online marketing. You're going to be creating your own download pages for sure, and your own. And a lot of times you'll want to create your own squeeze pages because if you advertise the same squeeze pages everybody else does, it gets to where people get ad blindness to them. So it's always good if you can create your own squeeze pages. Anyway, I'm glad you did that until we lost you. Yeah, I know. I hate that happened. If I'd had any idea we was going to have bandwidth problems, I'd have just recorded that video and showed it to you guys tonight instead of trying to do it live. Seems like every time I want to do something live, we have bandwidth problems. Okay, guys. Well, if there's no other questions, we'll go ahead and call it a night. I've got to try to get with Jen after the call tonight. We've been trying to connect with each other since Friday or Thursday of last week, so hopefully our bandwidth won't kill us and we can talk tonight, Jen. But thanks for coming again tonight, guys. And like I said, I'll make a video showing you guys how to create that squeeze page from scratch with Kompozer. Like I said, it's something I feel like you guys need to know, and I get a lot of questions about using Kompozer and creating HTML and tags and things like that. So I think it'd be good for you guys to see that. But everybody have a great night, and thanks for coming. You guys in the inner circle, I'll see you Wednesday night. Get your links out to me, guys. I haven't got a single link from anybody yet, so get your links out to me because that's what this week's call is about. We're going to look at each other's sales pages. So have a great night, everybody, and I'll talk to you next week.